Hare Krishna. So we are seeing a section from Shloka number 8 to 12 of chapter 12, which is basically talking about the progressive stages of bhakti. Now in this, Krishna has given us various progressive stages of bhakti from Shloka number 8 to 11. Now Krishna is making a very important point and sort of summarizing also in Shloka number 12. So let's see that now. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnananadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagakshanter anantaram. So here Krishna is saying that if you cannot take to this practice, so basically he's pointing to Shloka number 10, that is working for Krishna. He's saying here that Shreyaha hi jnanam abhyasat, that is, engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Jnanad dhyanam vishishyate. Jnanad dhyanam vishishyate. So here he is saying that, okay, engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge, but better than knowledge, however, is dhyana, that is meditation. But then he is making a very, very important point again. He says, dhyanat karma phala tyagas, tyagat shantir anantaram. Meditation is good, obviously, but then better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. Karma phala tyagaha. And by this what happens? Tyagat shantir anantaram. By such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Now let's try to analyze this. It's a very, very wonderful shloka, and we'll try to analyze the first few shlokas also that we saw. Now you see, shloka number 8, Krishna is saying that by thinking about him, by fixing the mind on him, on Krishna, what happens? What is the result that one gets? One will always live with Krishna. In the shloka itself, we have this line that if someone is able to fix his mind on Krishna, he'll always live with Krishna. Now, second one, by following the regulative principles of bhakti, as mentioned in text 9, what happens? What we will get? One will develop desire to attain Krishna. So by practicing bhakti and association of devotees, what happens? One will develop desire to attain Krishna. Third, in shloka number 10, by working for Krishna, what happens? One will come to the stage of perfection. But now in shloka number 11 that we saw, that is doing some activity which is not Krishna conscious, but giving away the results or sacrificing the results for some good cause, we see that Krishna is not mentioning any result of that. Why? Because the activity in itself is not spiritual. It's just a pious activity. It's not a spiritual activity. So now here in shloka number 12, Krishna is talking about the renunciation of the fruits of one's work. For whom? Not for anyone else, but for Krishna's service, which is also as described in shloka number 10. So now let's try to understand the shloka in detail. So Prabhupada, he makes very wonderful points in this entire purport. So there are two kinds of devotional service. Let's try to understand this. First, the way of regulative principles, and second, the way of full attachment and love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Prabhupada is saying, for those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge. Because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. Now, the ones who are not able to directly follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge. Now see, when someone is doing activities, basically detached work, slowly and steadily knowledge develops. So when we say knowledge, what are we talking about? We are talking about getting this knowledge that I am not this body, but I am spirit soul. This knowledge. So whenever we say jnanam, we are talking about this. That is, I am spirit soul. Now, when a person develops this knowledge that I am spirit soul, and he starts pondering upon this particular aspect of life, what happens? Gradually, this knowledge develops to the point of dhyanam or meditation. Now, meditation on whom? This is the next thing. So now the person has come to the platform of understanding the super soul. So first he was at a lower level, that is soul. The next he has come to the level of super soul. So that is what is mentioned. Now here it is said that in cultivation of knowledge there are processes which make one understand that one himself is supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if one is not able to engage directly in devotional service. Now, obviously, this is there that some transcendental activity is okay. But then, it's a very important thing to note that all this is there. But along with that, Lord has given us the varnas and ashramas, which we have discussed elaborately in our previous videos also. So, and this is described elaborately by Krishna in 18th chapter. Again, when we go to 18th chapter, we'll have a elaborate discussion on this as well. But here, the stress that is given, be it varnashrama or be it different processes that we are speaking about, one thing is very clear, that one should give up the result of fruits of one's activities. So this is something that is expected from us. So if this can be done very properly, then we can progress. Now there are different levels of devotional service that we saw. So the person can progress either by the step-by-step process or by the direct process. A direct process might not be feasible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is given. So something has to be done so that one can progress on the path of bhakti. But then this indirect process is not given for Arjuna here. It's not given for him, nor given for us. So we are devotees of Krishna. So it's not given for us. But for the ones who are not able to practice bhakti, it's given for them. So the ones who cannot go ahead like this, that is, the ones who cannot do direct devotional service, they should go ahead and do the step-by-step indirect one. Now here it is said that working with detachment and offering the fruits of work to Krishna. So this is basically the activity that Krishna is recommending here in this particular shloka. He's repeating the essence that was given in shloka number 10. That is basically Nishkama Karma Yoga, but here it has got more of a bhakti aspect. Because we are not just talking about giving up the results, but now we are talking about the results to be offered to Krishna. So we are not just giving up the activities, working with detachment, but those results are specifically offered to Krishna. So here this particular shloka says that when one works like this, he will be peaceful. And all of us we have seen in 5th chapter, shloka number 29, which gives peace formula. That is, when someone understands about the Lord, being Maheshwara, being Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and Surdam Sarvabhutanam. He is the benefactor of all sacrifices and austerities. He is the controller of all the controllers, and he is the friend of all. When someone understands this, he is peaceful. And here in this particular shloka it is said that when one works with detachment and offers the results to Krishna, such a person can be peaceful. And the two other stages which are lower than the Nishkam Karma Yoga are also mentioned in this particular shloka. That is the meditation part and cultivating the knowledge. And still lower than cultivating knowledge is what? Just working, for some social service, some philanthropic work and so on. That is detached work. So basically what Krishna has done here is, he has told us that how a person can slowly and steadily progress to the highest realm of devotional service. So progressive stages of devotional service. This is what is the section that we have discussed. So this point is very important to note again. Like I said in the previous video, again I'm repeating now, that we cannot wait to do a step-by-step indirect process. Okay, first I'll understand that I'm soul, okay, super soul, let me meditate on that, and then later on let me engage in giving up the results or engaging the results in service of Krishna or something like that. One has to directly employ one's mind, intelligence, and senses in service of Krishna. So we have to do direct devotional service. There is no question of indirect step-by-step process. We have very less time, very, very less time. As I always say, our lifespan is like the lifespan of the water bubble on the surface of water. When it will burst, no one knows. So it's a very, very important thing that without wasting time, without pondering on different things, one should just go ahead and practice pure devotional service. That is, hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's holy names, his glories, associating with devotees, and engaging practical devotional service. So these are the different things that we have to do. And we have to do this, and we have to preach also. Janma sarthaka kari and karaparopakar. We have to practice and we have to move towards the path of perfection. And along with that, we have to help others to move on this path of perfection. And we shouldn't get stuck in the step-by-step process, but directly start practicing bhakti, which will purify us very, very fast. So in this way, we can see how merciful Lord Krishna is, that he's trying to accommodate everyone. And he's making sure that each and every one gets the opportunity to practice devotional service. Now here, Krishna, after speaking about the progressive stages of bhakti, now in the final verses of this particular chapter, Krishna is again going to emphasize on pure devotional service. So now he's going to describe 35 transcendental qualities possessed by his pure devotees, which make those devotees dear to him. So now Krishna is going to tell us that what will help us to become dear to Krishna. So let's try to understand these 35 qualities, and let's see how to cultivate these 35 qualities, or at least some of them, which will attract Krishna's mercy and which will help us to get closer to Krishna. So let's start this section from next video onwards. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna